Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to Pesterquest. Last we left off, we just helped Equus. So I don't know how to get these particular hidden achievements, but I assume they probably relate to Viscera, but that's honestly not my goal right now. But if I happen to finish this game and I still haven't figured it out, I'll probably do a bonus episode or something. Anyways, we are now on to Terezi. There is mention of hanging, accidental death, and drug use, so please be warned. As a general rule, there's also adult language, violence, and innuendos, so just bear with it. So let's get into it, shall we? We're on to Volume 7, Route 2, A Fair Trial. Cool, breezy evening. Violent leaves crunch under your feet as you stroll casually through a dense and inviting forest. Not an environment you're used to on this planet, that's for sure. You should be lapping up this serenity like a thirsty dog at a zen fountain. Instead, you're brooding. So many new friends, all of them a special breed of sad. You don't like seeing sad people, so you've done everything in your power to fix them. Slumber party, matchmaking, throwing a giant spider into a volcano. The smile makes your new friends greet you with all the proof you need that you've been doing good work. Yet, you can't help but wonder how much of a difference any of this really makes. Especially on Eteria, you've gathered that even if one of these kids avoids being murdered by an insectoid electric robot, they'll just wind up conscripted into a lifetime of military service under a colonial empire, which makes it about as hard to believe that in a few bouts of revolutionary catharsis will ultimately amount to much. It's a depressing thought, and you're not entirely sure what to do with it, which is why you came out here. Nothing better for the soul than a nature hike, right? Maybe after a nice long walk, you've come right as... Hey, is that a treehouse? Ouch. Ouch is right, criminal. Need more shenanigans. You won't lie and say the prospect of making friends with the spooky shark is glaringly red shades is appealing, but criminal doesn't leave a giant taste in your mouth. When you try to move, well, don't, because you're tied to a chair. Strike 2 on the bad taste scorecard. Probably shouldn't stick around for strike 3. In a moment of uncharacteristic of self-preservation, you close your eyes and attempt to zap away, but you can't. Your head hurts and your vision is still kinda hazy, which might imply brain damage on account of your surprised wanging? With your luck, that probably means your superpowers are permanently broken. Typical. Looking up your captor again, can't help but thinking the specs are a bit extra. Or kind of loser wears big angular sunglasses like that anyways. You'd certainly be the one to judge if you had this legal authority to do so. Fashionably dressed like that, with blood as deliciously red as yours. The hypocrisy of you stinks like a fragrant pus. Gross. Jeez, what's up with all these aliens and their hang-ups about blood? Hang-ups. Gallow humor is admirably quality, but such crowd-pleasing theatrics will not spare you from the full law. I was not imagining Terezi to look like this at all. A bizarre tableau unfolds before you. Stuffing dragons and benches, big angry monster, empty noose dangling next to a window. Looks like you've just wandered into a courtroom drama. Much to your relief, your kidnapper isn't a shark, and you have to admit the glasses do come together in the ensemble, but it is instead a short, stocky troll girl in a short-sleeved turtleneck and a pair of garnished red Crocs. Yeah, this was not what I imagined Terezi to look like. The fashion on this one is staggering, especially with the sword. Is that a sword cane with a dragon head? It is because I am blind and cool. But make no mistake, I need I don't need eyes to smell how guilty you taste. Wow, every sentence that tumbles out of this troll's mouth is going to be weird and uncomfortable. Yes, but enough from you, cherry cheeks. His honorable tyranny will only tolerate so much banter before holding you in contempt. You might be developing some contempt yourself, if you're being honest. Well, unless you want to feel your organs burst from your eyes, you can can the back talk and let the prosecution bark. Is that what's being held in contempt means? Fine, you guess you'll be polite and stop interrupting. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Right, now that we have the preamble out of the way, there's a ding from her computer, and from her imposter immediately switches from confident to frustrated. Ugh, hold on. She strides over to a desktop, tapping the gleaming edge of her cane in front of her as she goes. I wonder what kind of miraculous accessibility contraptions exist on this planet that a blind person can just use. Is she just licking the monitor? Yeah, she's licking the filthy fucking computer monitor, just slathering it up with her teal-tinted saliva, going at it like a husband greeting his war wife after 20 years at sea. Why? Sorry, give me a second. No problem, you say. Not like you're going anywhere, haha. Now, okay, she's distracted. Now would be a great time to go somewhere. Your power cells seem to be on the fritz, but you think the weight of your incredible ass might shatter the chair if you could get some leverage. Save as I always do. Wait it out. You decide it's best to wait this out. The sort of news are a bit worrying, but with the plush toys and chalk drawings, it strikes you that this is probably the closest thing Ontario has to a tea party, which would be adorable if it weren't so depressing. Playing along seems like a prime friend-making activity. Besides, I never got hurt in court of law. After a few brusque keystrokes, she strolls back to her place in the center of the room. Not a word in half a sweep, and now she won't shut up. You ask who she was talking to. Just some dumb, angry girl who needs to leave me alone until the heat death of the universe. Who even cares, anyways? Not me, that's who. Where were we? Crimes? Crimes! Yours here today to face the highest justice under my authority as premier legal affiliated legislature and training of His Honorable Tyranny's courts. And it is said with authority that I accuse you of that most grievous crimes against the Emperor of her imperious condescendence. What crime would that possibly be? Drinking and entering? Doping with a clown? I guess she could be technically narrowed down as accomplice to murder, but the crime of existing! What? Waiting for the other shoe to drop, but the damn thing just seems to be stuck up there. What did you say about being in training? You're beginning to wonder if this is, what you usually call it, slave secretor, prosecutor, public deprecates. You're beginning to wonder if this murder lawyer actually knows what the hell she's talking about. You think I'm making this up? Do I really look like the kind of girl who would randomly commit unprompted and unjustified murder on a whim? Look, I met some weird fucking trolls on this planet and they all seem to have pretty laissez-faire attitude about murder, so... No, you know what? Fine. If you're going to be a pandemic, stub-nosed little wiggler about it, I'll just recite the whole fucking law verbatim. Article 5, subsection 11, paragraph 68 of the Second New Codes of Altarian Jurisdictions describes your crime as being, having been, or possessing the capability to be in need of material resources consumption for the purposes of curtailing biological expiry quote-unquote existing in or of around or through imperial territory as one of unclassifiable strangulation, quote, mutant, unquote, one of the extraterrestrial organization, quote, alien, unquote, or one who plans to commit, has committed, or may possess the capacity to commit high crimes and fish demeanors against her imperial condescendence, quote, criminal, unquote. There, happy now? Dang, this really a girl who knows her stuff. Of course I do. I'm not some fly-by-lunar cycles troll slaughter consultant. I'm a fucking professional. Clearly, how could you question her expertise on the subject of which is and is not technically a crime when there's so many books piled up haphazardly? You definitely are existing as an alien after all, and you can guess that does, by definition, make you a criminal. And from the looks of her news, you doubt the punishment is something quite to being thrown in the slammer. So is there an appeals process, or... She springs forward with a surprising agility and presses her face right up against yours, sniffing you with alarming enthusiasm. Your game of candid applies ignorance may convince this pain-scrambled cloud fuckers in the ship states, but I smell the description dripping off like the delicious marmalades. You'll have to do better than this if you really want to. She sniffs. She sniffs again. Did Kanya make you this dress? Oh, look at now. Yeah, you say, you and I are great friends. The best, in fact. You think you should message Kanya right now to clear this all up? You know, like a character witness? I've finished your character plenty of times, and it's bland as they've come. That's certainly not the worst contemplative noise you've heard. May have misjudged you. If you tell anyone I said that, I'm going to cut off your arms and use them to fingerprint bulges on your face until you bleed. Decide that keeping this pointless, mundane secret is definitely in your best interest. So does that mean you're free to go? Not so fast. May have implies possibility, not certainty. Maybe Kanya gave you this dress because she likes you, or maybe you pressured her into it circumstantially. Maybe you're delightful, clueless, and unintentioned interloper from beyond the stars, or maybe you're sent here as a sleeper agent to learn all of our weaknesses so that the entitles controlling you can sabotage our future. In the case of such of these, I find the best course of action to leave the verdict up to chance. She produces a double-headed coin with one side scratched out, and immediately you know exactly where this is going. The terms are simple. Heads, and I release you from your bonds. Tails, and I release you from being alive. Wait, is she really about to take you out to a gangster who portrayed the duality-themed mob boss? Before you can regret a less Saturday morning cartoon solution, she flips a coin into the air. Well, this is bad. It's bad, and it kind of makes you angry. This just doesn't make sense. You didn't do anything, but here you are with a 50-50 chance of getting mercied by a jovial gremlin anyway. Does you think this is normal? Your head has cleared enough that you could step away if you really tried, but something about this murder lawyer is stuck in your craw. Her devotion to justice is obvious, but interested and brutal justice, streamlined for violence, and painfully efficient in enabling exactly that. If this mock trial is anything to go by, this is the same system that requires insect robots to keep the peace, after all. There is so much wrong here, and she doesn't even see it. Like, metaphorically see it. The coin is falling. Every rotation brings you closer to a fate that, regardless of the outcome, wouldn't be fair. You decide to think about what she... Just like that, you're standing next to her, with the screen. You snatch a coin out of the air and hurl it full force through the window. My coin! Sorry, you shout, but she can't expect you to just accept the whims of chance when your life is on the line. Why not? Because that sucks. It's lame and dumb and really cliche. What is she, a comic book villain? Am I supposed to know what that is? You don't know. Troll sure seems to have a lot of arbitrary similarities to human culture and, honestly, very confusing. But that's beside the point. With a broad sweep of your arm, you gesture at the drawing of the honorary Tyrannosaurus or whatever, and ask what he would think of your little stunt just now. This trial isn't for him. We act like it is, but everyone knows he's just a big, angry monster. Huh? You? It's for the audience, obviously. By the time you make it to the stand, you're basically dead already. Don't the accused get a chance to defend themselves? Defend? Ha ha ha! Only the outrageously guilty would ever think to defend themselves in a court of law. Wow, that's fucked up. What's the point of even having a trial, then? Besides the sheer pleasure of watching all the hope slowly drain from someone's eyes as they confront their immediately approaching and inevitably gruesome execution? Yeah, besides that, it's a warning to the citizens of what happens when they cross the line. And the line is, existing? Yep. The nonchalant of her answer underlines just how unsettling all of this really is. You remember the law she recited, and one part of particularly sticks out to you, unclassifiable sanctification. Didn't Kakarot try to commiserate with you about having mutant blood or something? You know Kakarot too? I kept waiting for him to fuss about the team leaders, but now he won't shut up about this thing he calls a Dave. Everyone was just so worked about this game, and now they're just over it suddenly. Yeah, that's your fault. Kakarot would probably have a nuclear conception if he knew you were about to say this, but you ask her if she's aware of his blood clutter. Of course I'm aware of it. What, do you think I'm blind? Yes. Kakarot's mutant, right? If you remember correctly, that makes him guilty of the same crime you are. Her expression turns sour, and you can tell this is something she spent a lot of time trying not to think about. You figure she avoided similarly executing you, probably because you're friends with her friends, so she would probably avoid killing Kakarot as well, and that's a good thing. Great, in fact. You cannot stress enough how awesome that is. But that doesn't strike her as a bit hypocritical, making exceptions for her friends? Does she think that everyone else who dies in court or gets caught in their own hives deserves what they get just because you didn't know them personally? It doesn't matter what I think. This is just how things are. It sucks, but it would suck a lot worse to be killed for saying so. And then, who would protect Kakarot? Who would protect... I can't help everyone, Cherry Cheeks. I can barely help my friends. Maybe if I stick to it long enough, I can change things from the inside. That's the best any of us can hope for. I guess that doesn't sound like the worst plan. In fact, it kind of reminds you of who? You feel a sadness well up in your heart so fast and heavy that it knocks you over into her and without meaning to. Zap. Your vision is swimming. Voices echo in your head, but you can't pick any of them out. You look around and something's watching you. Not maliciously, not yet. Just observing from curious distance. Not that you can do anything about it while you're clutching your head and trying to pull your memories together. You've been circling around this awful familiar feeling ever since you left Earth, drawn towards it like a singularity, but closer you get, the less it makes sense. What the fuck just happened? Did you just kill me just now? Is this Troll Hell? Troll Hell? Do trolls actually have a name for... Wait, she's here too? Here seems like an ambiguous description. It's more of an ambiguous nexus of metaphysical realities. That's not a specific description. Has she been here before? No, but I've tasted places like this in my dreams. Great, even more shenanigans. You look around and try and focus to get your bearings, but nothing seems to be in focus. It's all too low resolution. Simultaneously, too bright and too dark to make sense of. You okay over there, Cherry Cheeks? Your blood smells really loud right now. You wouldn't know how to react even if you weren't having a memory-induced thought seizure. The pieces are too far apart, and you can't quite put it together, but you remember friends? Bits of memory hits you, sudden flashes of joys, of violence, smiling faces, crying faces, bodies, plans, hope that the world could be made into a better place. What the fuck are you mumbling about? If you've fried your think pan, at least let me in on it so I can participate. You tell her what you can remember, which isn't much. Friends, sadness, dissatisfaction, people who are deeply unhappy with the state of Altaria and face violence from all sides, just as your new friends do today. Some of them wanted to change it from the inside, and you remember believing that they could. But you get the sense that a lot of time has passed between now and then, and it doesn't seem like Altaria has gone much better. In fact, it may have gone worse. It does seem like whatever it was your friends tried to do, they failed. Of course they did. What do you mean by that? Even in the context of your nonsense time-traveling amnesia cover story, it's not hard to believe. Compiling idiots have good ideas all the time. That doesn't change the fact that they're idiots. Which is why I'm going to succeed where everyone else had their entrails ripped out by a swarm of drones and died like the scrubs they were. I am many things, Cherry Cheeks. An idiot isn't one of them. She flashes a bright and pointed smile. Food with confidence that you believe with every atom of your body. But you're pretty sure she's not the first person to make you feel that way. Idiots or not, the friends you used to have were just sure of themselves as she is now. And what good did it do? Honestly, you doubt the intelligence of competence has much to do with it at all. You think about the drones who've barely avoided Kakarot's hive, and your brief exposure to what this planet calls the criminal justice system. But as violent and as just as things could be on Earth, at least there were some pretense that the system existed to serve the people. Here, it's just murder. You're unsure that the system that anyone can salvage. Her smile melts into a frown and you really should ask what this troll name is. Heh. Tetsuri Papara. Tetsuri doesn't sound particularly happy as she slumps down against a debatable exact wall and slides down into a crouch. Her face is a mask of barely contained emotion. I can tell why Kakarot would like you. You're very depressing. You chuckle and sit down a respectable distance away from her. You definitely don't mean to be depressing, but you have a knack for digging up drama. The hazards of forging new friendships, you guess? If Fiskra saw us right now, she would depraviously laugh herself into an aneurysm. Jezra knows Fiskra? That's one way to put it. We were practically sisters before she broke the rules and ruined everything. How do you know her? Oh, you know, we played some flarp, killed some kids, felt guilty about it, threw Viskra's mom into a volcano. Wow, you really have gone around. What's a mom? You think that's just the saddest thing you have ever heard. It's said if you didn't already know what a Luskus was. You killed her Luskus? So that explains why she's been messaging me. Deseret's laughing, but it doesn't sound like any after you've heard. Can't fucking believe it. Skitsworth figured her shit out just in time for me to have my own identity crisis. I bet she thinks everything's supposed to be fine between us now just because... Want to know a secret, Cherry Cheeks? Might as well add another one to the pile, you say? I have no idea what I'm doing. Never have, and now I don't think I ever will. Well, that's bleak. You guess you're sorry? It's not your fault. You haven't told me anything I don't already know. Her cheeks are trembling as she reaches behind and pulls out a box of chalk, then removes a red piece. You think this is a weird time for artistic expression, but... Oh, she's eating it. Tesseract offers you a piece. You don't want to be rude, but you also don't really want to eat chalk. She shrugs and crunches it like an unshelled lobster. You guess you have to take that in stride. The more important thing is that Tesseract is inconsolably sad, which sucks because you're the only person in a position to console her. Give her a distraction. You heave out a mournful sigh. Alteria's a meat grinder, fine-tuned to pulverize anyone who tries to gum up the works. Maybe there's something to be done, but you don't think either of you are going to be the ones to do it. Yeah, why bother, right? She's probably doing fine without me anyways. When you look over at her, you see she's doing her very best to hide her tears. That's no good. You may be lost in the cynical, political burnout, but that doesn't mean you can just sit by and watch your new pal descend into abject disarray. What you two need is a distraction. What you need is a clown. Grab Tesseract's hand and think the happiest, honkiest thoughts you can muster, and just like that, dip. Hey, you're right there in the living room of your dear friend Gamzee. What a sight for sore eyes in this drug-addled jungalo. What the fucking motherfuck? With comical slowness, he dives bomb away from you over his couch and into a pile of horns. A chaotic honk cacophony sends Gamzee to a chorus of screams. You elbow Tesseract. Smell that? How can she possibly think about crushing impossibility of making the world a better place when this fellow's over here acting like such a fool? His frown is unwavering as Gamzee clambers back up to his feet. That was as righteous motherfucking miracle what you just gone up and did in front of me. Got me scared honk-wise right into the horn pile of my brother? It's a real good thing I'm tripping the pie clown-tastic right now, otherwise my plump biscuit might have flipped turnways hard enough to make me be all violent on a motherfucker. His smile is nothing if not cordially unhinged. English. Hey, Games. Desiree? Well, fuck me all situationally up. What it do, my sister? It do too much. Shit, man, got some bad news to hear. Now that I'm looking all up at you motherfuckers, you seem to have pretty hilariously burdened like in the soul that we have. We agree that you do have souls, probably, and that's the answer he was looking for, right? If I have a soul, then it's a tar-tasting slime stuck on the bottom of a ground pusher covering. You mean a shoe? Whatever. Well, I don't know what you two hoes have scribbled down on your planners for tonight, but if it's the world what has you wearied-eyed, methinks maybe you should be getting to have you think pans all up in some pie pans, my man. That's not a bad idea. What better distraction from the dystopian nightmare of Arteria than the warm, comforting embrace of hallucinogenic drugs? Tesseract seems momentarily unsure, like some sensible part of her is desperately begging her to do literally anything else. Look it. She plops down onto the couch with determination, sinking into it like a sack of disillusioned potatoes. That is directly the noise I like to hear. Gamsey slithers down next to her and puts an arm over Terezi's shoulder. She tenses up but doesn't push him away. What about the miracle, Themster? Do you want to be getting up all in this? He with a delightful grin. You think you feel the same tug of reason Tezra felt, but you'll be damned if you pretend to have more sense than a lawyer. Besides, you're having a hard time imagining anywhere you'd rather be than in the arms of a fragment calm. He puts his arm around your shoulder as you sit down and make yourself comfortable. Now, this is just the coziest motherfucking snuggle sesh there ever was. You see Tezra sniffed at an open, half-empty Fraggle bottle before taking a big sip. Pass me some of that wicked elixir, my sister. Gamsey takes his own demure sip, gargling as he sucks from the bottom. By the time he passes it to you, you're pretty sure it's more backwash than Fraggo, which is still more Fraggo than none, you guess. It is, without a doubt, the most vile combination of taste and vrosky you have ever put into your body, but hey, at least now you're not thinking about politics. As you toss the empty bottle to the ground, already lost in a superfied haze, you glance over at your new pal Tezri. She doesn't look happy, but at least she doesn't look sad. Goal accomplished, I guess? Hey. Let's give her a hug. You don't know how to fix this, you don't know how to make Kezra feel better, the best thing you can do is put your arms around her. Despite the fact you're a complete stranger who basically just kidnapped her, she welcomes the embrace. Hated her for what she did, not to me, but to our friends. All but went to war over it. After our truce, we cut ties. My hope was that she would avoid hurting anyone else, but deep down I knew I would have to kill her eventually, in the name of justice. She did terrible things, but so did I. We did some of them together. Why wasn't I culpable? Why did I blame her for something we did to each other? You think it's regrettably natural to blame the person in front of you when you get hurt, especially when the real problem is too big and her struck to stab through the chest with a sword cane. Vriska did what she did because she had to, so did I. We both deserve the revenge we brought on each other, but we were all victims of the big picture. It made us what we are. Ensured we would do what we did. Every little injustice started there. When we fight, whoever painted that picture smiles and laughs, because they know they've already won. She sits up a little straighter, and you feel your spine follow suit almost as well. Look that. Tesseract slips out of your arms and stands up, pulling you to your feet with her. Her entire demeanor has changed. She's practically vibrating with determination. Take me to Viscous Hive. I'm assuming that's the thing you can do. Oh yeah, that's the thing you can do. Your mind is still buzzing, but talking to Tezra has calmed that storm just enough for you to focus. As you take her hand, you spare a last look around that bizarre, impossible space. You still feel watched, but this distance now, maybe even improving? You have so many questions, but those will have to wait. Right now we got work to do. Zap. Before you can even see where you landed, Tezra marches up to a very surprised Viscra and backs her up against the wall. She stops just a few feet away, looking up at the cerulean spider girl with anger on her face. Despite their differences in stature, Viscera is intimidated. Caught her off guard, and Tessera is unflinching. The room is completely silent, and you see Tessera clutching her fist. She looks one wrong move away from unleashing hell. There isn't this quite what you hoped in mind when you brought her here, and you really hope your new friends aren't about to fight each other. Something in the air changes. You aren't entirely sure what's happening, but something is definitely happening. You figure it's just best to cross your arms and pretend you don't exist. Tessera's posture softens. Her hand relaxes as she breathes a soft sigh. Viscera straightens up, letting her own tension dissipate. Guess you're feeling a little tense yourself? Smile. When Viscera cracks a hesitant smile, Tessera leans back. She's sniffing the air intensely, which feels a little like a good sign. Everyone's getting a little looser, a little more casual. Definitely an improvement. Then they both start cackling, slapping their ears like they just heard the most hilarious knock-knock joke in history. You sure like to get in on the joke too, but you figure it'd probably be rude to ask. Smile, smile. And then they hug? You're not exactly sure what happened, but figured hugging is powerful platonic friend activity, even in the worst of times. It's gotten you this far, after all. Yeah, that's what all this is. Your two gal pals hugging it out. It's so sweet you could cry. When they separate, Tessera meanders over to the window, overlooking the pit where Viscera's Luxka used to live. So she is dead. Oh, yeah, we're broken up about it too. Viscera looks at you. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Tessera turns and leans up against the windowsill. You have a lot to make up for. That's why I've been messaging you. I want to apologize, okay? I don't want your apology, Visca. I have a lot to make up for too. There's definitely something going on in this room that you feel oblivious to. Wonder what went down between the two girls that they can't even talk about what they're talking about. What do you mean? Frown. There's so much injustice in this world. Every drop of deliciously innocent and painfully extracted blood on this planet is just a paint for the fishy fucks up top to play with. And the worst part is that they were complicit. You revel in it, even. I reveled in it. Tessera, are you? They never make this violence good, so they had to make it fun. And I had so much fun hurting people. Who knows how long I would have gone on like that if I hadn't been for our weird invasive species of friend here. Tessera wipes a tear from her cheek and smiles at you, and you feel a huge rage of relief. Friends! With a former murder lawyer in training, you sure know how to pick 'em. I want, Visca. I want to revel in something good. I want to feel this razor edge of their own justice. I want their blood to stain the dirt beneath my feet like the pathetic wiggling insects they were. But I can't do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. You watch Tessera take in a measured breath. For just a moment, you can just imagine her standing in a room full of determined people, just behind the person of everyone else would call leader. Smiling a wicked smile, she's not the one who commands the stage, you think. She's not the one who controls the spotlights. She's the one who knows what happens next. I'm not sure why we are together anymore, Visca. I hated you. I've felt a lot of things. What I know is that they were dangerous, and fate seemed determined to make us rivals. That almost sounds fun, doesn't it? We could fight for the rest of our lives if we wanted to. Each the scourge of their other until one or both of us winds up dead. They tell stories about us for a long time, but I don't want that to happen anymore. Do you? No. You haven't known Visca a very long time, but this is a side of her you had never seen. You doubt many people have. It's actually really awkward. You probably should go, but your prying curiosity and desire for interpersonal closure keeps you glued up to the spot. You had the right idea in the wrong circumstances, but this time, I think you can really do something together. So let's try this again. Visca, will you be my scourge sister? Yeah, obviously. Good. Then let's go to get to fucking work. They share a look that you can't quite read, but you get the feeling that this is a resounding success. Scourge Sisters Unites! Huzzah! And finally, the last thing. Get some love. You lean forward on your feet. Take a deep breath and then hop backwards as hard as you can. It works! You scramble up out of the broken chair as your captor turns to you. What the fuck? You try to run, but the rope's still tied around your legs, and as other plans as you trip, try to catch your weight, fail, and then just sort of let the momentum of your band of villain tumble carry you across the room. You slam into your captor and send both of you flying out the window. Oh, this is way higher up than you thought. You grab onto her and pray for dear life. Hey, you're not falling. That's a relief. You congratulate your agile friend and her quick reflexes on grabbing hold of... Oh no. You've heard of hung jury, but this is ridiculous. Oh. Prosecution. Fortunate. Still haven't gotten these 2 achievements. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives. May the stars forever guide your path for wherever it might lead you into the future. Bye-bye.